Okay, so let's get started. Sorry. The current state, this week we've been reviewing and merging most of the MRs. There are still a few in review, but the Xcode and runner, sorry, the runner VM images are ready. So we could theoretically start onboarding users with those VM images, even though the MRs are not yet merged. And Darren?
Just a heads up that I'm off Friday, Tuesday, and Monday. So I have a long weekend off as well. Darren, you have the next point.
Oh, okay. Are we on, sorry, are we on point 3?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so I actually created an issue for it as well, but I was wondering if there's a dry run for the onboarding process, if you can set up a VM for my project. So it's kind of a very simple dry run. We kind of see the mechanics of, okay, does it make sense for us to add the details back to the issue? Let me post my issue as well so we can do it. And then from there, we can say, hey, Darren, this process needs a bit of refining. Maybe it's better to do it this way or what have you. So that's my point 3. And let me post the issue right now. Initially I dumped the details directly in the document because I hadn't created the issue. I was on my one-on-one, but I'll take it out of the doc and put in the issue.
Okay.
Any particular Xcode version in this VM?
My project, I'm using the JSON. What is going on? There was a couple of example projects already in the GitLab repo. Jason was doing a Flappy Bird test, was this Flappy Bird app, and there are a few others. This one is, I don't think needs a specific version of Xcode. I need to double check.
It's using Fastlane, so I don't think.
Yeah, the Fastlane one, I think that's it. So let's just see what happens, you know. Now, I was actually having some challenges building it on my local Mac, but I hadn't played with it in about a week and a half. So that's that one. And then my number 4, as you guys saw in Slack, the GDK team created their issue as well. So we should probably do an dry run onboarding with them. I don't know if you want to do it today or when we might want to do it.
Nice. Yeah, well, I still need to kick off the build for the Xcode VMs. I had to delete them due to quota. We were reaching quota. So I'll have to recreate them once we merge these. So tomorrow is probably...
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I will drop a note back for the GDK team directly in the issue. I'm going to use the issue as the way to communicate with all customers the status and starting with the GDK team first. I'm not going to communicate with other customers yet. So I'm going to respond back to GDK team, hey, got it. I will start the onboarding process maybe tomorrow. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I have point 5. I was thinking, and just as I jumped in the call, should I create a schedule for onboarding the customers? Right now, not counting the GDK team, the last count I had, we had 13, mostly customers, I think, / users that have requested access to the closed beta. Would it be helpful for me to say, hey, customer A and B on Friday, customer C and D the Monday? Would that be helpful, or how do you want to approach the scheduling?
Do we have capacity for 13 customers? That's 78 CPUs. How many CPUs do we have?
We've got 10 Mac Pros, approximately 4 VMs per Mac Pro. So that's,
40, okay.
Yeah, and that's not with oversubscription. So what's that? So I think it should be okay, right? 13? So 13 customers, 1 VM per customer. It's 13 VMs, 14 VMs Mac, and we have a capacity of over 40.
But wait, we have 10 Macs, right?
Yeah, so take 2 out of the equation, because 2 is kind of like for our own infrastructure. So say we have 8 to use for customer
Okay,
capacity.
so we have 8 Macs. How many cores does each Mac have?
12 cores.
4?
No, 12. Let me find the spreadsheet again. Hold on. And dump it into the doc. I think I should have done this in the doc last week. But
So basically 2 VMs per node.
At least, actually, more than that. Hold on. Let me find it. Where is my document? Mac OS build power planning. Here it is. Dumping it into the agenda doc, which I just lost just because that's how things happen when you have 500 tabs open. Maybe we should go over about, we should go over the document, the spreadsheet. Here we go. Okay, tell me when I open that up.
So it's 12 cores per host.
Yeah.
We have 10 of them, right?
Yep. And approximately, I mean, the way they kind of frame us, the way Maxim has communicated to me is that even though we have 10, you kind of want to hit 2 back for your own infrastructure needs or whatever, Okra or whatever it is. Theoretically, is 8. And so if theoretic, and then based on the core capacity, that's kind of how we're doing the caveat. Now, one thing I didn't do in this spreadsheet is, if you notice, I can row 4. I just have the 10 total. I don't have another row that sort of takes care of taking the 2 out of that 10 for our like Okra needs. So I probably need to add it to the spreadsheet.
We have capacity CPU wise. My only concern is point number 6. We're already jumping over the threshold of the 1 terabyte we have because of the amount of images that we're building. The number of jobs that we're running at the moment is abnormally high just because we're developing on it a lot. So we're creating a lot of merge requests and a lot of images. But we need to like probably be super conservative with the amount we allocate for development, or we have to increase the amount of storage we have in our pool. But
so in terms of scheduling, maybe what we can do is, how about in week 1, let's say week 1 starts today, it's Tuesday, until Steve, you're out for next, say for the first week, from now till next week, we only onboard 5, right? From now to like 5 customers max, from now till the end of next week, including GDK. So GDK team plus 4 others. And then we monitor capacity usage, we monitor some stuff. And if things look solid, then we reach out to the other customers and say, okay, now you're in, now you can be onboarded. So like, you know, so from September the 15th, through, not September, yeah, September the 15th through September the 25th, the max we'll have on there will be GDK plus 4 other customers. And then potentially starting the week of the 28th is when we might onboard a few more customers, depending on how things are working out for us.
yeah, I think that's doable. So if we want 5 customers onboarded by the 25th, that means we have to onboard 1 per day, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then what that does as well is I can, depending on kind of as we finish up all the merge requests we're doing now, we're building the VM images, and we say, hey, you know, we actually, to your point on 6, we're having the storage capacity issues. I can have my conversations with the Maxim folks like this Friday. It's like, hey, what do we need? What can we do to adjust the capacity of the storage? Here's what we're bumping into, and those types of things.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Like we're never gonna be ready. So might as well just go for it.
Yeah. The only thing that affects the storage is saving images, right? It's whenever we create a merge request that requires saving new images. Other than that, you know, whatever customers do, that doesn't really affect our quota.
Well, it does because it will be using our disks, right? So if a VM is like, for example, if they're downloading a 2 gigabyte 20 gigabyte image, for example, like program, right, on their shell
Mhm.
executor. That means that's 20 gigabyte away from our quota, from everyone's quota.
Mm. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just the images or if it was really the VM
No,
disk space as well.
it's literally the node space on the Orca image, like
Okay.
because the images are stored in Orca, so as well as the VMs, right? And the VMs have disks. So I'm assuming, and it would be very weird if it was a different quota,
Mm.
because it's just a storage pool that we have access to, and that there goes everything inside of it.
Yeah, that's why it would be cool to have the GDK team as soon as possible working on this, because I'm sure that we'll find a lot of low-hanging fruit before we start onboarding others.
So on that point, how about, maybe this is Darren, I'm just going to add a sec. So on the scheduling, so how about this whole scheduling topic? I'm assuming as part of point 5. Sorry. How about so GDK? So let's just say September. What are we on? Today's 15th.
50.
Yeah.
Okay, so September 16th, GDK team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then September. I need like 3 monitors. Otherwise, I need a way to have a calendar open because I think it's definitely old age kicking in. Where I cannot remember dates off the top of my head. Is that bad? Oh, this is being recorded. I do one show a day. So September 16th, we onboarded GDK team. So September 17th, I'm just doing business days. 18th, 19th, GDK team. I don't document this somewhere else. I don't know where I need to document, but I'll just document it here for now. So GDK team testing, no additional customers. Is what I'm thinking. And then that gives us 17, 18. And Steve, you're out on Monday as well. You're out, right?
Yes, I'm off 18th, 21st, and 22nd. So I'll be back online on the 23rd.
So maybe if it's, I don't know if our schedules permit, maybe we move this call to the 23rd so we can all be on that call. And maybe, so then what I would suggest is September 23rd is first, now update the onboarding issue says, here's where we're at. The first customer will be on August, September 23rd. I'm pinging the exact customer that we have identified in your issue.
I think that's a lot better because that gives us tomorrow and Thursday to merge the Xcode stuff, which I'm confident that we will. So yeah, 23rd for the first customer is a good date.
All right, cool.
Is that good for you or is that too late for you?
For me?
Yeah.
No. The way I've communicated this, if you back in the Meta Epic, is these big blocks of time, closed beta, I forget Q something, open beta, whatever it is, and then GA. That's fine. The only risk that I have to work through is back to the capacity of the compute layer. So we have the 10 macros, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of the pricing, Mac Stadium gifted us 4 Mac Pros for 3 months, right? We've already blown through those 3 months, right? I've already gone. So I had my last conversation with them on Friday that says, okay, well, can you extend that 3 months? I don't want to have to pay for the additional 4. The worst case scenario is I drop it down to 6 and we just manage our capacity. And now I'm still thinking through how this will work, honestly, because closed beta we can manage as we're managing using white glove treatment. Now in open beta, I'm thinking, okay, if we don't expand capacity, which I don't necessarily want to do because it's going to cost us more money, we just have the 6. Is our open beta truly open to all GitLab custom users, or is it really just like paying customers potentially, a more narrow, scope, if you will, so that we can manage the capacity better?
Yeah, that's a really tricky question. I would say it would still be closed beta at that point, just because we still have a specific set of capacity. Like for the open beta, do we want the autoscaler to do everything, or are we going to still be handling VMs ourselves.
Okay, so for the open beta, I would like the autoscaler in place.
Okay.
Before the open beta. However, I'm not sure, even if the autoscaler was in place, I'm not sure I want every single GitLab user to be able to spin up a Mac OS VM. Is a debate I'm having internally in my mind right now, just because of the capacity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what we can have is, if we're just worried about capacity, it's we can limit it to run like 6 jobs, and that's it. And then the pending queue is going to be forever, for example.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That is something that we have to build in the autoscaler, because right now with the Windows autoscaler, we just are going under the assumption that we have unlimited resources, which kind of we do with Windows, with GCP. So we just keep spawning up VMs. But we'll have to add a new setting in the autoscaler. Hey, only run 6 jobs at the same. No, actually, we can do that already. Never mind. We can, because in the runner configuration settings, we can say how many concurrent jobs we can run at the same time, and we just put it to 3 or 4, right? So our macOS shared runner can only run 4 jobs at the same time, for example. So then that's our capacity. We only have 4 macOS shared runners for the public, right? And then they can just wait for the pending queue to churn through it.
Let me ask you this question, which I know I probably know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because I probably don't know the answer. There is this other issue that's sitting in our runner backup for some time called runner priority. This whole concept of being able to do a prioritization setting. Is it possible for us to know today, and this makes no sense, but maybe it does. The Mac OS runners are only going to be available to the GitLab.com instance, obviously, right? You have to be on GitLab.com to use this. Is there a way for us to know that a project on GitLab.com is associated with, that namespace that is associated with is a paying customer namespace?
I think, yes, that happens through the data warehouse team, though.
Oh, so it's not in the actual GitLab itself. It's only happening offline.
It's happening offline by the data team, I imagine. That namespace is a paying customer, and this namespace is not.
Yeah.
Because there is a license attached to the namespace, but that is only exposed through Periscope and things like that, I think.
Yeah. Okay, bummer. Yeah,
we can kind of, we do have the data in GitLab. So I'm guessing what you're suggesting is we only pick jobs for paying customers, right? We do have the data for that. Because the license itself is hosted in GitLab. So a namespace can have a license, and we know if the user has a license or not. So we can make it just enterprise edition thing. But that is something that we have to build custom. And that will be all in Ruby. And I'm not sure how it would work, to be honest, because we don't have any gating logic between enterprise or standard edition for scheduling.
That's right.
So it might be a lot of work for little benefit, but I'm not sure.
Or, another thing that one could do is that if you're not building this into the actual product itself, you can build this into your fulfillment system. So by that, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, really fast brainstorming. I know I'm kind of off about the agenda, but theoretically, we can have the autoscaler, right? And we have that prioritization logic with only 4 jobs at a time. And then we can say in our marketing material, and of course we have to get approval because this is all pricing and Sid has to be involved in this, right? but the Mac OS closed beta or open beta is only going to be available for, say, enterprise, right? And so in our docs, we won't necessarily communicate what the tag is that you have to apply. But people will probably eventually find it out, maybe. And I don't know if this is kind of a hack, and you only give it to enterprise customers.
Those tags will be very, very easily discoverable because the shared runners are available on your project page.
That's true. Yeah, right away you see it, and it shows up right away.
It would be more of people saying this is an undocumented feature and things like that, and this is gated or something like that.
All right, so Scratch, I think the best idea for right now I've heard is limiting the queue, at least throttling the queue and saying that we have no SLAs for open beta, and then we see what our usage is.
Yeah, like looking at our usage for Windows, what we get 6 jobs, 7 jobs per customer, like overall outside of GitLab Runner. We're gonna handle that very easily if it's the same for macOS.
That's a good point, you're right. If it's the same kind of scaling.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just thinking about it from a job point of view.
The only problem is costs at the end of the day, because then macOS is costing us a lot more than Windows. And
yeah, the way that, so right, and the way, so the cost I'm worried about if we have to scale up the backend fleet from say more than 10 to handle whatever we see the usage might be during open beta. And the reason is at a high level, and I need to double check the math with the pricing team. What the pricing team is suggesting right now is that say the macOS is costing us X $1,000 per month, right? And we're paying Google whatever it is per month for all of the Linux runners, right? So you add up those two costs, and so they're basically saying that all those costs are blended, right? And so basically, so instead of saying I'm trying to do like I buy a Mac OS minute at making up a number, $1 a minute, right? And then I'm selling it to you at $2 a minute, and I buy my GCP Linux runner at 25 cents a minute. I sell to you at 50 cents a minute. You're saying, okay, no, I buy 1,000 minutes, and it happens to be some of it I'm paying a vendor, Mac Stadium X dollars, and some of it I'm paying Google, right? Yeah. So my total cost is, let's say, $3 for how many minutes I have, and then you're just basically giving a blended price, knowing that that the actual true margin that I make for the Mac is less, but because I'm blending, and my price point kind of works out so that why I'm blending. But I still have to double check the math makes sense over time.
Okay, but does that mean that we're not gonna have macOS more expensive than the Linux machines? They're gonna be the same price?
Potentially, that's one suggestion that was made, and that's why I'm double checking with the pricing team over the weekend, because they closed really fast. They closed the pricing issue for Windows, and I said, hey, we haven't done the work on this yet. And the response was, right now the usage of Windows is so low, it doesn't make sense for us to have different pricing for Windows because it's not low. But to your point, Mac is different. That's why I need to double check the math with Mac this week to see if that still makes sense. Otherwise, we still have to go back to the work that Camille pointed out with the
credit system. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And then figure out how we actually measure the usage of the Mac minutes. Because right now in GitLab, it's just 1 minute block, right? Like, hey, you have 1,000 minutes and then you round down to 500. Anyway, I digress.
Well, we do have a solution for that. That's just using tags and putting in the right calculation. But yes, that is something that we still have to do.
Yeah. My last point was on the worksheet that I sent you guys there a second ago. There's a tab called Closed Beta Capacity Planning. You don't have to look at it right now. I was just going to capture in here like maybe customer name. I don't know. There's some kind of way to kind of like really quickly see if we're out of capacity or at capacity. So if you guys want to take a look at this, I hack it up to see if we have the right parameters in here from tracking this. This was just my first cut and so on. So this is wide open for all three of us in the entire team to like hack on and kind of figure the right way to manage how we do this. That's my last one.
We want to capture onboarding dates.
Hey, sure, why not? Whatever we think makes sense.
Awesome.
So it's
All right. Hey guys,
Okay.
I'm going to drop off and start doing a bunch of stuff I'm supposed to get done. This was super cool.
Yep. Okay. Take care.
Cheers. Talk to you soon.
See you, bye.